Okay, so I just want to share this article today with you guys, and it's from zerohedge.com, and I'll post a link in the description during post-production. Title says Medvedev warns Russia has no choice but to unleash nuclear apocalypse if attacked by NATO. Now, before I get started, as always, I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of GMS that rule well and that do teach well, that have taught me this truth. To you I say shalom, and shalom to the hopeful elect. A lot of scriptures come to mind, I'm thinking of Revelation 11 and 14. I'm thinking about Proverbs 21 and 1, which I'll get these scriptures. I'm also thinking of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, Joel, the 3rd chapter, right? Because this is all going to lead into that World War III. And what comes with World War III? Thermonuclear destruction. And that's what's being spoken of by these leaders, these high-ranking officials, World War III and thermonuclear destruction. And that's what the former Russian president, Dmitry Medvedev, is going into. So I'm going to read the article and then get the scriptures and precepts. So it says here, not for the first time, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev has warned that a direct war between Moscow forces and NATO would lead to nuclear apocalypse. Hey, and the nuclear apocalypse is spoken of in the scriptures. You can go into Revelation, the 6th chapter. That talks about nuclear apocalypse, talks about nuclear destruction. Go into 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. Hey, that goes into nuclear destruction. Right, so, and there's many more. Malachi chapter 4 goes into thermonuclear destruction as well. Also, it says here, the current deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council issued the warning on Telegram Wednesday in response to recent statements and reports that some European leaders are telling their population to prepare for war. For example, just last month, UK Army Chief General Patrick Sanders called on authorities to mobilize the nation to prepare for war with Putin, and that the population needs a shift in thinking to be ready. Right? And yeah, I made a video, I believe, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, going into the statements that, what's his name? I think his name is Admiral or Lieutenant Admiral Rob Bauer. Right? He's the chair of the NATO Military Committee. Admiral Bauer, he made statements that in the next 20 years, NATO is going to go to war with Russia, and you European nations, you need to prepare for war. Right? You need to prepare for war. Yeah. So it's not just the Chief General Patrick Sanders. It's other high-ranking officials that are making statements about prepare for war, get ready for war. Next 20 years, we see us going to war with Russia. So a lot of these high-ranking officials, they're in that warrior mindset, right? So anyways, it says here, Medvedev mocked this and other examples of NATO leaders accusing Moscow of seeking a broader war as but dangerous drivel. He said that this is all about trying to bolster support for sending more weapons to Kiev amid what's become war fatigue among Western publics. According to Russian media translation of his words, Medvedev said this is part of efforts to prop up Ukraine, a dying country that is foreign to taxpayers while ignoring problems at home. Therefore, every day the leaders of these countries broadcast, "We need to prepare for war with Russia and continue to help Ukraine," he wrote. That's when he said that people in the West have to be told the blunt truth. Medvedev underscored that the Russian response to attack by NATO would, without a doubt, be asymmetrical, he explained. And he says here, since our military capabilities are incomparable, we will simply have no choice. The response will be asymmetrical. To protect the territorial integrity of our country, ballistic and cruise missiles with special warheads will be used. This will be the proverbial apocalypse, the end of everything. Right? And, what comes to mind, man? Obviously, Ezekiel chapter 38 comes to mind, but mainly Ezekiel chapter 39 and 1, because it talks about how big their military is, right? The sixth part of the And that's what it talks about specifically in Ezekiel 39. I believe it's Ezekiel 39 and 1. Matter of fact, let me pull that up. I have it right here. So it says here, prophecy against Gog, invaders destroyed. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I'm against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Tubal, of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back, and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee up the mountains of Israel. So, the sixth part of thee is going into their military. 5 parts of the Russian military will be brought to Yahweh Shaphat. Okay? Yahweh has judged the valley of decision, and that's really to fight the Lord, obviously. But that's really for World War III. And that one part of the Russian military will stay back and protect the motherland. So they have a really, really big army. And that army is comprised with tanks. It's brute force, tanks, Scud missiles, ICBMs, warheads, fighter jets. They have a huge military and they have a big arsenal. So they're ready for war. They're set. That Russia is a major superpower in the world. And don't underestimate Russia. Russia is very powerful. And they're a key player when it comes to World War III. Right? So yeah, these two precepts come to mind. I'm not gonna go any further into the chapter. So I want to go back to the article. So it says here, this is certainly not the first time that Medvedev, known for this bellicose and hawkish rhetoric, has warned of nuclear apocalypse. But it is the clearest he has ever spelled out that the Kremlin would not hesitate to activate its nuclear arsenal if Russian territory is directly threatened by NATO. That's right. And if you threaten them, they're going to react. And this also brings to mind Revelation 11 and 14. Let me get that. Because we are in World War III. It's a cold World War III. And soon it's going to become a hot World War III. We're already in World War III. Right? We're already in World War III. And it has come very, very fast. That's why Revelation 11 and 14 says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Right? And it is here. And it did come quickly. And it came so quick that it went over a lot of people's head. A lot of people right now don't think that they're in World War III or that they're experiencing World War III. World War III is happening right now. It's just cold. It's not hot. It's cold. But it's warming up. It's slowly warming up. All right, so let me get Revelation 11 and 14 because I already quoted the scripture. So this is Revelation 11 and 14. It says, the second woe is past. That's World War II. World War II already came and gone. Likewise, World War I. And World War II was a very serious war. That was a banking war. That war changed the world. Hey man, you saw a lot of things happen in World War II. Man, you saw communism spread. You saw Nazism spread. Hey, you saw atomic warfare. Man, World War II changed how we interacted with the world. It changed how we go to work. It changed how we travel. Right? It brought forth globalization. Hey man, World War II was a serious war, man. Now it says here, and behold, well, you always had globalization, but it made globalization more advanced. Okay, for lack of better words, it advanced it. It accelerated it even further. All right, it says here, behold, the third woe cometh quickly. That's right, here's the point. That's World War III. The third woe cometh quickly. And it's here, man. It's here. It came so quick that it went over a lot of people's heads. A lot of people think that we're not in World War III, but we really are. Okay? And I've made videos about this. And other brothers, especially the head over there, I believe his name is Osh, the head in Tampa, Florida. He made a video about that too, about how World War III is here. He did a live show with another brother. So, hey, it's here. The prophecy is being fulfilled. All right, so let's go back here. Okay, he says here, his comments also come at a very dangerous moment where Ukraine's security services are increasingly targeting oil refineries on Russian soil with drone and missile strikes, sometimes at long ranges. Below, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says Britain ready for war. Yeah, Britain's going to get involved. Moscow has accused Western and NATO intelligence services of assisting with such attacks. Recently, it has accused France of maintaining mercenaries in the northern city of Kharkiv in order to mount attacks on nearby Belgorod Oblast. There are rising fears that this indirect fighting or proxy war could drift into direct live fire between Russia and NATO countries, but so far this has been narrowly avoided. And that's Matthew 24. That's a rumor of war. Likewise, this article too, a rumor of war. Matter of fact, let me pull that up, and then I'm going to get Proverbs 21. Right, so let's get Matthew, Salakia, Matthew 24, and I believe we'll start at verse 4. And Yahushua answered, no, actually, let me get verse 3. It says Matthew 24, verse 3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? That's right. So what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And we know the signs. The signs are found in the books. In this book, there's a lot of signs, and he goes into them. And we know that the end of the world is when these Edomites are ruling, because the scripture says in 2 Ezra 6 verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And that world is going into an age, which that word is eon. It's a period of time. And Esau's time is coming to an end. So his world is coming to an end. So the world itself is not going to end, but this Edomite's world is going to end. Him being in rulership, specifically. So it says here, verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. And a lot of you people, man, you're deceived. You're deceived. You're deceived by these false prophets that are out here. And by the way, the prophets, they're going to be out on the corners. They're going to be out in the highways and byways. And they're going to be the ones you least expect to be prophets. Right? The prophets are not in the Himalayas sitting in a mountain or sitting inside a cave in the lotus position eating mung beans and doing chants. No, the prophets are on the highways and byways, and they look like ordinary men. Okay, they look like ordinary men, but they're really not ordinary men. Okay, but yeah, they're going to be out in the highways and byways, and they're going to be pushing this word, pushing the truth. And they're not going to be bribed, and they're not going to sell out. And they're definitely not going to be wearing a 3-piece suit with a tie, okay? So it says here, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Yahushua, and shall deceive many. That's right. And here's the point, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And the end is not yet. And what we're seeing here, this has to come to pass. This is a part of prophecy. So all these leaders coming out and saying, prepare for war, prepare for war. Hey, that's a part of prophecy. Prophecy is being fulfilled. This is necessary. This is a necessary evil. This is a necessary evil, okay? Because this is prophecy being fulfilled. And this is going to lead up to Joel chapter 3. Yahushua, the valley of decision. And eventually, these nations, man, they're going to put all their differences aside, and they're going to fight Yahushua. Okay? Eventually. So now let me get Proverbs 21 verse 1. Going into the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Right? So let me get that. Proverbs 21 verse 1. Because that's what's going on here. The Lord is causing them to make these statements. The Lord is going to lead them down that path of destruction via World War III, thermonuclear destruction. The Lord is in control. Okay, you have to remember that the Lord is in control. The Lord is in control. Yeah, man. So don't ever forget that. So it says here, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh as the rivers of water. He turneth it whatsoever he will. That's right. You know, even the hearts of men are in the hands of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai. And not only their goings, you know, not only their goings. So only when you go into Proverbs chapter 20 verse 24. You know, the Most High can change the minds of men. You know, he just puts the angels on them. He puts a spirit on them to do whatever he wants them to do. All right. So now I'm gonna go into Proverbs 20 verse 24. Go to the previous chapter. Let's bring that out. All right. Let's bring that out. So Proverbs 20 verse 24, and it says here, man's goings are of Yahweh. How can a man then understand his own way? And you know, the thing is, man, we have no foresight when it comes to future events. The only people that have the foresight that can see into the future are the prophets. But for the most part, you kings that are on the earth, you men of high rank, you nobles, you can't see the future. Right? You have no foresight of future events. So a lot of you people are saying war. You know, you think you're just going to fight with Russia, but it's going to escalate into something bigger. It's going to escalate into you fighting Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You know, they can only anticipate, but they can't really see the future. These world leaders, these scientists, these political scientists, these economists, right? They can't see it. So yeah, you know, we have no foresight of future events, and therefore we know not how to forecast them. Think about it. So really, how can a man understand his own way? That's a very good question. How can a man understand his own way? How can he tell what will befall him in the future? Since Yahweh Bashim Yoshai's counsels concerning him are secret, right? They are. You know, so how can he of himself contrive what to do without divine direction? Right? How? You know, we so little understand our own way that we know that we know not what is good for ourselves. Come on, man. You know, it's all you have to follow the Lamb whatsoever he goeth. You have to cleave unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because tomorrow is not promised to you. Tomorrow is not promised to you. So they're predicting all these things. These leaders are predicting all these things, but they don't know the outcome. And it's worse for them because the Lord is not with these people. All you can do is just cleave unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's all you can do. Anyway, I rambled on enough. So let me go into 2nd Ezra 16. So this is 2nd Ezra's chapter 16. Should I read from the top? Yeah, let's read from the top. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 1. I may jump around. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Yeah, man. Babylon, America, okay? Yeah, woe be unto you. You know what woe means? Woe means destruction. And you other parts of the world too. Woe unto you. Because World War III is going to affect the whole world, man. It is. Woe. Woe means destruction. This place is going to be destroyed. Woe. And this is what the Lord is telling you, man. Verse 2, gird up yourselves with cloths of sack And here, bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? And this sword and this destruction, this fire, it's coming from Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. And you can't stop whatever Yahweh Bashem Yoshai throws at you. You can't. You can't. You can't. Verse 6, may any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood. And it's impossible to do that. Hey, man, you see a hungry lion, man, or a hungry pride of lions. Oh, my God, when they catch their prey, they just devour it. They just devour that prey. Especially if it's not an experienced lion, you know what they'll do? They'll fail to break the neck. So you know what they'll do? They'll attack the stomach and go for the prey's innards and eat him alive while he's screaming to death. And then when you look at that animal that's being eaten, man, you see that adrenaline kicks in. It's screaming so much to the point where it doesn't even feel pain anymore. And then it just gives up the ghost, man. Hey, that's going to be you people in that day. You're going to be eaten alive. You know, them missiles, man, when they hit you, they're going to devour your flesh. You're going to feel every bit of pain. And it's going to get to the point, man, where that adrenaline kicks in and you just don't feel shit anymore, man. But that destruction, man, is going to be so horrific. But anyway, it says here, may any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood, or may any one quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn. May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. And that's true, you know, you can't stop that arrow once it's shot. Picture a bow and arrow in your hand. You know, when you shoot it and you let it loose, you can't go in the sky and grab it. Hey, once it flies off into the air, hey, it's gone. Wherever it hits, that's what it's going to hit. Verse 8, the mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? Hey, the Lord is sending the plagues. You know, as it says plagues, there's a lot of plagues that the Lord's going to send in these last days. The plague of famine, the plague of viruses and diseases, sicknesses, fire. Where he's going to send the elements. Hey, these are all plagues. Locusts, those are all plagues. And who is he that can drive them away? And you can't drive them away, because we're going to receive the same plagues of ancient Egypt. Those plagues, man, they couldn't drive those plagues away. They just had to take it. They just had to take it. Verse 9, a fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? Okay, so I'm going to jump down now. Jump down to verse 13. Here's the point. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. That's right. So the only thing that can do that, the only arrow that can be shot from the end of the world, is talking about an ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile. A regular arrow can't do that, right? It can't do that. So the only thing in this day and age that can do that is intercontinental ballistic missile. That's the only thing that can do that. And that acronym says it all, because that missile goes from one continent to the other. That's why they say intercontinental ballistic missiles. And they travel at Mach speeds. And once that missile hits a certain point in the atmosphere, then that's when the warhead comes out and it hits its target. Now that's what you call a weapon of mass destruction. And that's what this is talking about. Verse 14, behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out, till it consume the foundation of the earth. And that's not an ordinary fire, man. Remember, it says, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out. So yeah, your firefighters can't put out this fire. This is not talking about a forest fire. This is talking about thermonuclear destruction, radiation. You can't just put that out. It just has to play out and go through its course of burning. So this is not a normal fire. Million-degree temperatures, million-degree heats. The day of the Lord shall burn as an oven. That's pursuant to Malachi chapter 4 and 1. Also, I believe 2 Peter is the third chapter, I believe. 2 Peter 3 goes into that. Now, anyways, it says here, verse 16, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward. Even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Isaiah 33 and 6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of thy salvation. The only one that's going to deliver you in those days is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And in order for you to get delivered, you got to have faith. And having faith is really, it's not an easy thing. You can't just wake up one morning and have faith. The Lord has to give you faith. And when he's giving it to you, he builds you up first. He puts you through a lot of trials. He puts you through tribulations. He tries you. And a lot of you people out here, you ain't going to make it because the Lord ain't with you. He ain't trying you. He ain't trying you. He ain't trying you. And at the end of the day, if the Lord wants you to make it, you're going to make it. And only the elect is going to make it. Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars and powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? What shall I do when these evils shall come? What? And to the average person, they're not going to know what to do. They're not going to know what to do. Doesn't matter if you're trained how to survive a nuclear holocaust. Doesn't matter if you have a bunker. You're still going to experience hard times. But the men of the Lord, you know what they're going to do? They're going to call upon the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And guess what? If the Lord's with them, he'll put a hedge around them. That's why the scripture says, 1,000 shall fall by thy right hand. I believe that's Psalms 91. Let's see if I can get that. You know, it's going to be scary until the very end, until you get delivered. But you still have to have faith. What was it? Psalms 91? See, Psalms 91. I think it's Psalm 91 and 7. Yeah, here we go. Psalms 91 and 1. I'll start at 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Really, the chariots, man. You know, you're gonna be delivered by them chariots. Verse 2, I will say of Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. That's right, you got to trust in the Lord. And he is your refuge. And he is your fortress. You really got to believe that. It's easy to say it now. But what happens when all hell breaks loose? Are you going to really be thinking that way? A lot of men are going to lose faith too. A lot of men are not going to believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai when trouble comes. Verse 3, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. What is a part of that noisome pestilence? All these plagues, man. And that main plague being thermonuclear destruction, the missiles. Verse 4, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. That's right. Verse 5, also that goes into the word itself, and also the Lord is going to physically do that when you get beamed up into those chariots, those ships. Because you can go into Ephesians, the 6th chapter, right? Talks about the shield and buckler, talks about how this truth is, or the truth and knowledge, which is the armor, right? Verse 5, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fleeth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So you're going to witness people dying left and right. That goes into the very end too, man. You're going to see a lot of people perish before you. So when you're being beaten up in those ships, you see people dying left and right. You're like, holy shit, oh my God. But you won't be touched. And you know why? Because you believe in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Just like the title says, security of the one who trusts in Yahweh. That's right. So anyways, that's all I really want. All I really want. Till next time, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakah HaKodash. And thanks for tuning in. If you stayed for this long and listened for the whole 30 minutes and change, may Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai be with you in the spirit. Kwam Yasha Allah. All right, Shalom.